getting started about 2.5 hours later than I intended to. But we're here. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. I tried to stream this a little bit earlier and had a technical issue, so I'm kind of deleted that and restarted. I'm going to try to act a little surprised by some of this, but I'm not exceptionally impressed so far, but we're going to keep going with it. It's a demo. It is free on Steam right now in demo, and it shouldn't take too long to do. We can see where it goes. I'm going to tell you right now, those of you that may be fans of this gentleman here, don't expect a great deal of enthusiasm in his reading. I suspect they did not negotiate his fee as high as he would like. And also, pay attention closely. You will see that there's clearly a teleprompter off to his right, or at least somebody holding cue cards, because occasionally you'll see him staring intently over there. It's kind of humorous in some ways. I will go ahead and replay the beginning video for your benefit, and you'll notice that the sound quality, much like my sound quality, but is not necessarily great. It kind of varies a lot. But I'm sitting in an apartment living room, and all of my recording and audio equipment was just bought with my money that I make, working every day. These people are making a game, and I suspect they spent a fair amount of money on it. They could have at least put some padding on the walls around him and maybe got that recording at a consistent level. But it does change from one dialogue to the next. But it is clear. I'll at least say that. It's clear. And I'm not trying to down it too much. I mean, it takes effort to put these things together, but still, we'll see if maybe they fix this before it comes out, if it ever comes out. And now that I'll get off my soapbox and we'll kind of start. Kind of at this point, just hoping to find some things that'll make me kind of chuckle a little. There it is.
Despite its name,
See that
Fang
cue card?
was an ordinary small town. It made a convenient stopover for river traders and passengers throughout most of the year. But all that was long ago, before the creation of the Trial of Champions. Now, once a year, the river is crammed with boats as people arrive from hundreds of miles around, hoping to witness the breaking of an ancient tradition and see a victor in the Trial of Champions.
Cutscenes, but the cuts and dialogue. I'll do the tell me more about it. Since I've seen it, but you haven't seen it. And if you have seen it, I don't know why you're watching this demo, but we'll do the tell me more about it.
Deep in the hillside, behind the town, lies a challenge created by a powerful baron of Fang
to your right lies a teleprompter.
This year, you will attempt what has become known as the walk, attracted to it for the simple fact that nobody has ever yet emerged victorious. In the morning, you see Baron Succumbit himself, with 5 others standing proudly in line. There are 2 bare-chested barbarians dressed in furs, a sleek elven woman with golden hair and feline green eyes, a man covered head to foot in iron-plated armor, with a plumed helmet and a crested shield, and another cloaked in black robes with only his dark eyes showing between the swaths of his black face scars. You have in your possession a sword, a shield, and a backpack for carrying provisions for the trip.
And I am sitting in my bathroom reading this dialogue.
Now it is your turn to salute the crowd. Holding your violet scarf aloft, you take one final deep breath of cool, fresh air before turning to pass between the stone-pillared gateway into Succumbit's corridors of power to face unknown perils on the walk through the mighty barrens Deathtrap dungeon.
That just disappoints me. That is such a low quality picture. I mean, you got everything else set up like live action, and even the artwork in the Tell Me More was better than that.
The clamour of the excited spectators gradually fades behind you as you venture deep into the gloom of the cavern. Large crystals hang from the tunnel roof at 20-meter intervals, radiating just enough soft light for you to see your way. As your eyes gradually become accustomed to the near darkness, you begin to see movement all around. In a small recess on the left-hand wall, you see a section of bamboo standing on its end. Lifting it down, you see it is filled with a clear liquid. Your throat is painfully dry, and you feel a little dizzy from the heat in the tunnel.
Yeah, and apparently dehydration is also what makes me believe that I can lift something down. Now, I'm going to tell you, because I got this far whenever I attempted this a little while ago and discovered that the audio from the game wasn't coming through. It doesn't matter which one of these you pick, it actually just ends up at the same place. Now, if you hit continue north without drinking, you're going to roll some dice, and if you roll below the 9, you'll continue. I'm assuming that if you roll over the 9, which is your skill or your luck, however you want to look at it, that you might die and have to start over. I don't know, but all I know is that I went continue north because I thought maybe the liquid was a trap, and it I rolled under the 9, and it said that I almost blacked out, but then it said, but the liquid from the cool bamboo, or the cool liquid from the bamboo, keeps you going. I never drank the liquid. I don't know how it kept me going. So I have a suspicion there may be a little bit of a defect in the choose your own part of this, because they didn't really seem to think that through. But we're going to go ahead and drink the liquid because it goes to exactly the same thing, just without almost blacking out. Or no, it does. It goes to exactly the same dialogue.
The water in the bamboo pipe is welcomely refreshing.
Yeah, this part's not there.
And adds 1 stamina point.
This is the only thing
you miss out on. It also contains a magical solution, which will enable you to be exposed to melting point temperatures without harm.
Oh, wonderful.
Discarding the bamboo, you start off north again, in good spirits.
No.
You find yourself dripping with sweat as the temperature continues to rise. As you struggle on, the heat intensifies until it becomes so unbearable that you feel yourself begin to pass out. Although the temperature in the tunnel is higher than you could normally tolerate, the liquid from the bamboo pipe keeps you alive, and mercifully, after a few moments, the temperature drops rapidly and soon feels almost cool again. On the left-hand side of the tunnel is a closed door. It has a small iron plate in it, which looks like it might slide open.
Why is there a wheelchair in the background? Nothing against wheelchairs, nothing against anyone who uses them, but why is there a wheelchair in the background? Because this is an old wheelchair. Now, okay, so what I was saying about not mattering what you pick, the only thing that you miss if you go north instead of drinking it is that additional stamina point, which is, I'm assuming, useful. But other than that, this last little bit of dialogue, it just kind of goes to there and still says you drink the liquid that you never took, that you never got, that you never brought with you. And this is where I got, so now I can actually be surprised by what's going on. Try to open the door, tried to slide the iron plate, continue north along the tunnel. We don't want to continue north along the tunnel. There's got to be something behind the door. So door number 1.
The door swings open into a small room. But before you know what is happening, you find yourself falling through thin air. There was a pit behind the door, which you did not see. You land heavily at the bottom and wince with pain, losing 4 stamina points. The pit walls are roughly chiseled and have plenty of toe and finger holds, so you are able to clamber out quite easily. You curse your own eagerness and tell yourself to be more careful in future when entering rooms.
Be more careful in future.
Inside the room, you see 2 iron hooks on the wall opposite the door. A coil of rope is hanging on one of them. You put it in your backpack, jump back over the pit to leave the room, and head north. During your adventure, you'll enter into combat a number of times. And the further you go, the tougher your opponents will be.
He's looking so hard.
Combat takes place over several rounds, and your attack strength is based on yours and your enemy's skill scores. For each round of battle, we'll roll 2 dice for you and 2 for your opponent, adding the results to your skill scores. These are your respective attack strengths. Whoever's attack strength is the highest wins that round of combat. If you both had the same attack strength in a round, then it will be a tie. In some battles, you can take an opportunity to escape. But beware. If you do run away, your opponent will automatically score 1 hit on you as you flee, costing you 2 stamina points. So be sure you have enough. Such is the price of cowardice. You are playing using the new battle system, where the battle takes place over 3 rounds. Your sheer battle-hardened nature will mean you'll always win the battle after the 3 rounds, but every round you lose will cost you 2 stamina points. So be careful. Losing all your stamina will still be fatal. At the start of each round, you'll have a short time to decide to fight or to build up your stamina by eating your provisions or taking a potion, if you have one. The orcs roar, and as you draw your sword, one of them swings its morning star at you, which thuds into your arm, knocking your sword to the floor. You must fight them barehanded, reducing your skill by 4 for the duration of the combat. Fortunately, the tunnel is too narrow for both orcs to attack you at once, so you fight them, one at a time.
I kind of wish I had paid attention to what he was saying,
but your enemy is too fast, and you crack your head on the floor as it knocks you to the ground.
I am a battle-hardened fighter, and I can't swing a sword without cracking my head on the floor.
You hurl yourself at your enemy, fists flailing, and land a stunning blow.
I have a sword.
You drop to the ground, sweeping away the orc's legs. Its head hits the ground hard with a sickening crunch.
The first orc slumps lifeless to the floor, so you turn your attention to the other.
Oh, well.
The orc takes a huge swing directly at your head, but you duck just in time. Neither of you are harmed. You quickly eat some provisions, increasing your stamina by 4 points.
Oh yeah, that's right. My sword was thank you, chat.
The orc's morning star is a formidable weapon, and you can't stop it smashing into your ankles, knocking you off balance. You duck under the orc's morning star, grab it, and ram its head hard into the wall.
Your fists are sore from the fight, but you pick up your sword and see if the orcs had anything of use. Heading west, you see wet footprints. They lead to a closed iron door in the right-hand wall of the tunnel, but do not seem to go any further.
Oh yes, of course you have to open the door.
The door opens into a large chamber, where you are shocked to see one of your rivals who has obviously met a sudden gory death. It is one of the barbarians, and he is impaled on several long iron spikes that are fixed to a frame which has sprung out of the floor. A lot of debris litters the floor, concealing a hidden tripwire which he must have stepped on, releasing the spiked frame. In the far wall is an alcove, in which you can see a silver goblet standing on a small wooden table.
Well, he's already triggered the trap. Let's search the barbarian.
The pouch on the barbarian's belt is empty, apart from some strange-looking dried meat wrapped in a cloth.
I'll eat the dried meat.
The meat contains herbs which increase your strength, adding 3 to your stamina score.
Stamina is apparently life and strength. Walk to the alcove.
You walk slowly over to the alcove, carefully checking the floor for any more hidden traps.
Dang, Skippy.
You see that the goblet contains a sparkling red liquid.
Oh, how can I resist?
As you lift the goblet, it releases a sprung catch, and a dart shoots out of the wooden table leg. This will be a test of your luck. We'll roll 2 dice, and if the number rolled is equal to or less than your current luck score, you have been lucky. But if the roll is higher than your luck score, then your luck isn't in. Your reflexes are sharp, and you quickly jump aside. The dart whistles past, only just missing you, and thuds into the opposite wall. You see the goblet lying on the floor, and the red liquid running away in rivulets over the grey stone. At least the goblet may be of use. So you put it in your backpack, leave the chamber, and continue west. The passage soon leads to a junction, where you notice more footprints on the floor, possibly as many as 3 pairs, heading north from the south passage. You decide to follow them to where the passage opens out into a wide cavern, which is darker but much drier. Ahead, you see the footprints gradually fade, then disappear.
Okay. Restart the demo. Try a couple of
The clamor of the excited spectators gradually fades behind you as you venture deep into the gloom of the cavern. Large crystals hang from the tunnel roof at 20-meter intervals, radiating just enough soft light for you to see your way. As your eyes gradually become
So we'll do the continue north. By the way, you can just hit the, if you do happen to want to play the demo, sure why you would, but if you do, you can kind of skip through that. So we'll continue north instead of drinking the liquid.
Although the temperature in the tunnel is higher than you could normally tolerate, the liquid from the bamboo pipe keeps you alive, And mercifully, after a few moments,
that liquid I never
the
drank.
temperature drops rapidly and soon feels almost cool again. On the left-hand side of the tunnel is a closed door. It has a small iron plate in it, which looks like it might slide open.
Okay, so I did the door last time. We will do the plate.
The small plate slides open easily, and you find yourself peering into a room with a deep pit in the floor behind the door. On the opposite wall, there is a coil of rope hanging on one of two iron hooks.
Sounds reasonable.
The door swings open into the room, and you step back and jump over the pit. You put the rope in your backpack and jump back over the pit to leave the room and head north. Ahead, you see that the tunnel turns sharply to the left. You turn a corner and almost bump straight into two fierce-looking orcs, armed with morning stars and wearing leather armor. You are totally unprepared for them and struggle to ready your weapons. During your adventure, you'll enter into combat a number of times, and the further you go, the tougher your opponents will be. Combat takes place over several rounds, and your attack strength is based on yours and your enemy's skill scores. For each round of battle, we'll roll 2 dice for you and 2 for your opponent, adding the results to your skill scores. These are your respective attack strengths. Whoever's attack strength is the highest wins that round of combat. If you both had the same attack strength in a round, then it will be a tie. In some battles, you can take an opportunity to escape. But beware. If you do run away, your opponent will automatically score 1 hit on you as you flee, costing you 2 stamina points. The orcs roar. And as you draw your sword, one of them swings its morning star at you, which, thankfully, crashes into your shield, bouncing off harmlessly. The tunnel is too narrow for both of them to attack you at once, so you fight them, one at a time.
Ah, there we go.
You flail your sword toward the orc, but it manages to push it aside. Neither of you are harmed. The orc is strong but slow, and you're able to strike hard with your sword. Your shield protects you from the orc's frenzied attack, while you're able to hack at its leg. The first orc slumps lifeless to the floor, so you turn your attention to the other.
I'm not sure it matters how long
you raise your sword to parry the attack, and are able to kick the orc hard in the stomach. The orc is strong but slow, and you're able to strike hard with your sword.
I'll forgive him for the repeated dialogue. I mean,
your shield protects you from the orc's frenzied attack, while you're able to hack at its leg. Heading west, you see wet footprints. They lead to a closed iron door in the right-hand wall of the tunnel, but do not seem to go any further.
I did not catch that really jarring cut. The first time. Okay, so we opened the door last time. We'll continue west.
The passage soon leads to a junction. where you notice more footprints on the floor, possibly as many as 3 pairs, heading north from the south passage. You decide to follow them to where the passage opens out into a wide cavern, which is darker but much drier. Ahead, you see the footprints gradually fade, then disappear.
Okay, so that, and of course it's just a demo, so there's not going to be a whole lot of options, but, so, there it is, Deathtrap Dungeon. I'm not going to lie, I can't see myself wanting to play this whole thing. If you enjoy the choose your own adventure, well, this is definitely a choice. I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed in just the obvious lack of care to kind of putting this thing together. I mean, they put a fair amount of effort into some things, but then, you know, they could have at least done enough takes that perhaps he wouldn't have to keep looking at the teleprompter. And honestly, no offense to Eddie here, but if you're going to take someone's money to do a job, either don't do it if you just don't want to, or, you know, learn your lines. I mean, I am not a professional. I do this as a hobby. I do this because it's something I kind of enjoy doing, but, you know, it's not how I make my living. And I have good days, I have bad days, but you're a professional actor. You know, either don't do it or at least give it a little effort. But yeah, it's kind of a thumbs down for me. But I hope you've, you know, enjoyed watching, or at least, you know, learned whether or not you may or may not want to try this for yourself. And now I think, yeah, this is the end of this stream. I think I'm definitely going to play something else shortly here after this, and I may or may not stream it, but at least it'll be something I enjoy. I'm not disappointed I tried this, but it's also 30 minutes of my life I'll never get back. So, thank you for watching. If you're watching now, if you're watching later, if you're on Twitch, consider following. Watch this on YouTube. It's posted. Likes are always appreciated. Subscriptions are absolutely adored. But until next time, I'll take it easy.